You know, this is an easy one, you know, to be honest with you. I mean, we lost the possession battle. They got 16 offensive rebounds to our 9. They had 9 turnovers to our 12. That's 10 more shots they got up on goal. That's like giving them the ball 10 times to start the game without ever having a chance to have the ball offensively. They deserve all the credit for that, especially in the second half. 23-7, they out-rebounded us. It's unacceptable. They were tougher than us physically, and they threw us around like a bunch of rag dolls. And our guys better figure out very quickly the physical toughness that's required on the backboard. Now, the encouraging thing is that we've rebounded pretty well all year. You know, we've been tracking that. Our guys know that. We show it after every game, and we've rebounded the ball well. And then the other encouraging thing, I think, is that we've taken care of the ball very well. We've had under 10 turnovers in many games, and it's been a real strength of our team. Unfortunately, when we needed both of those areas to be strong tonight in a tight game, they weren't. We got abused on the backboard. And again, give them all the credit. I mean, they knocked us around on the backboard. And then we turned it over 3 more times than they did. You know, we probably need to play with our customary, 7, 8, 9, and we had 12. And that was the difference in the game. You look at the points, 17 second chance points off 16 offensive rebounds, and then what were the points off turnovers? 13-7 Purdue. So they're +6 and +12. That's +18, and you lose the game by 8. It's literally that simple. Okay, taking care of the ball, I'm not as concerned about. Obviously, I want to make sure we do that, but we do that well. We've done that well for 2 years. We had a couple that were uncharacteristic. We'll get that fixed. What I am concerned about is our lack of physical toughness on the backboard. It's unacceptable. Unacceptable that we allowed that to happen at that level. So we better figure it out pretty quick. Obviously, we got another one on Saturday, and they're very good, as Dustin just reminded me, rebounding team as well. And if we're not physical and we're not tough, they could do the same thing to us on the backboard. So we've got to get that shored up between now and Saturday. Questions for the players?
Tracy, how does it make you feel when your coach says you guys weren't tough enough, that you got beat up by another team?
As a leader, I just kind of put that on my shoulders, and definitely got to do a better job at preparing my guys, myself, to be mentally, physically ready to be tough. And like Coach said, it just wasn't there last night. Tonight, they killed us on the glass, and that was the big difference in the game.
Tracy, can you describe what happened on that last play where you threw it back over your shoulder?
Just got caught up, tried to find Iki.
Tracy, how's the team kind of going through this right now? 3 losses in a row.
Obviously, it's tough as competitors. Of course, we want to win and go out there and give it our all. But, as older guys on the team, we got to be there for each other and keep encouraging each other. And, we just got to find a way to get it done. Just simple as that. Just like Coach said, just got to be tough. Got to be tough. And we got a game Saturday. We got to be ready to come out tough and together and trust each other.
Kendrick, what are you young guys learning about what it takes to win in the Big Ten?
We learn a lot. Every game is big, and every possession matters, and we learn a lot. And I think the freshmen are picking it up pretty well.
Kendrick, are you seeing a big difference, a big step up in competition?
Definitely, it's more up-tempo game. That every possession matters. You got to take care of the ball, and definitely have to play defense.
What are you learning about to get playing time? It seemed like you and Malcolm got extended minutes in the first half today.
Being aggressive on both ends of the floor, not being timid. Definitely on the defensive side, and just take care of the ball.
Tracy, when Coach talks about the physicalness, is any part of that, could that be attributed to the fact that some of you guys are banged up right now?
I don't think that's
No excuses.
That's like Coach said. I don't think that's the thing. And
Next question.
Okay, we'll let these guys go.
Questions?
Obviously, from the physical standpoint, you're upset with that, but does this loss overall feel different for you than?
No. Well, yeah. No, from the standpoint that they're all 18 count the same. Yes, from the standpoint that you know, if you swing, Marcus, and you're physically tough, which we've been the majority of the year, I don't want to say you don't like that feeling regardless, you know, when you get beat, you know, quite honestly. But it gets in my crawl more when I see those backboard numbers. And you're begging guys to, you know, block out and get them off the glass. And it was a physical game today on the backboard. It was. And give their kids credit. They were active on the glass. Got contributions from a lot of different guys on the backboard. And, you know, part of that is you can people look at it and say, we got to block out. Well, part of it is you got to keep the ball in the paint. You know, they drive it like that, and they drove it really well tonight, and they posted it well tonight. It gets you in situations where it's more difficult to block out. So we didn't do a great job there either. But I think at the end of the day, some of that's just a physical disposition and nastiness you have to have in this league on the backboard, and we did not have it.
Do you think the last two games took something out of them?
I don't know that, Shannon. I mean, I can't crawl inside their minds like that. I know how we've operated as a staff. We haven't changed anything. We've been very, very positive. A lot of verbal encouragement, which we do that all the time anyway. I mean, I don't think we practiced great yesterday. I thought we had two big-time practices before the last game. Yesterday I thought we were okay, but now, as I said, next question, so I owe this gentleman here an apology. We were nicked up a little bit yesterday, so it was a unique practice, you know. And not just Ray, some other guys as well, just a little bit here and there, so we weren't quite normal, you know, rhythm. But again, we put 5 guys out there, you got to play. I mean, you got to play. You know, it is January. You know, I think Jerry West is the guy who once said, if I waited until I felt good to play in every game when I played in the NBA, I would have played in about a third of them. You know, you're not going to. This is Big Ten basketball. You're dealing with ankle sprains and tendonitis and knees and all those different things, and everybody has that. Every team has that. So, you know, I'm just disappointed in the way that we competed on the glass.
What about the way Rice competed in the first half versus the second half? Was that kind of taking a toll on him, the hip or groin thing?
You'd have to ask him. I don't think first of all, Paul Schmidt did an unbelievable job because I really didn't know. You know, leaving the locker room in Evanston the other night, like, boy, may have him, may not have him. How effective is he going to be? And Ray and Paul deserve a lot of credit. Ray's so dedicated. I mean, Ray came in. You know, we asked him to do 2 treatments a day. I think he did 3 on one of the days. You know, he's just so dedicated, and he wants to play, and, you know, up in the morning, getting treatment in the middle of the day, treatment before practice. And so a lot of that credit goes to Ray, but Paul also kind of getting him ready to go. So I thought those guys did a great job to at least where he could be effective today and help us. I wasn't sure, you know, if that would be the case.
John Malcolm gave you really good minutes in the first half. He didn't play as much in the second half. Just what reason for that?
Well, we went with the older guys late, but I loved how he played. You know, I thought he was good on the glass. I thought he competed. He led us in rebounding at halftime. We were up 29-19 on the glass at the half. I mean, you know, 23-7 in the second half. I mean, like I said earlier, it's unacceptable. I mean, but I thought he was good on the backboard. I thought he was aggressive, both him and Kendrick. I thought they, you know, had a swagger about them that I like. Just got to keep building on that. I love the progress that those two guys are making. You know, Mav wasn't as good when he first got in there, and then he turned it up and ratcheted up a little bit after a couple conversations with Coach Ford. You know, he got going a little bit and was a little bit more physical, but I also thought he did some decent things. So, you know, we've just got to keep building there. I like, you know, Hill and Nunn, I thought were really aggressive, which I like.
Coach Groce, you talked about the physicalness. Also, talk about 3 straight front end and 1-on-1s you guys missed.
Yeah, I can't control that. You know, we shot 72.5%, I think, DB heading into the game. Is that right? This is my stat guy. That's why I always reference DB. He knows everything. I think that's what we were. Yeah, 72-73, which is good. I mean, that's what we want. That's what we shot last year. It's been top 3 in the league last year. You know, we made them. Today we didn't make enough of them. You know, but you know, sometimes you can't control all that. Obviously, that had a factor in the game, but you can't control all that. What I'm more concerned about is blocking out, rebounding. You know, we had a couple lapses in coverage tonight, 3 or 4 times. We were changing defenses for the first time in a while. I shouldn't say 3 or 4, maybe 2 or 3 times where, guy wasn't on the same page there. I didn't think that helped us any. But again, at the end of the day, it comes down to the backboard.
I know you want Nana to keep shooting, but what can he do to be more effective?
He's got to stay with it, Shannon. I mean, that kid, he works so hard, and, jeez, boy. I mean, you just got to stay with it. He is, kind of hang in there. It's not believe me, there's no one that feels worse about that than him, So, but he works ridiculously hard, and, I've seen what he's been able to do over 2 years, and, hopefully we'll, get one to drop in the game. But I thought he took them aggressively and followed through, and, we missed some. We missed some free throws. We missed some, but again, I don't like to tie all that to that, because sometimes with missing shots, sometimes that happens. I mean, it happens. I'm more concerned again about the physical or lack of physical nastiness that we had on the backboard in the second half.
Did you see John get a couple of shots?
Yeah, it was good. We ran some stuff for him, executed well out of timeouts. We scored 3 in a row there in the second half out of timeouts. Thank goodness we did, because we had only 25 points in the second half. And then we got another good look out of another one. I thought that was something, if you guys recall, back in December, I was begging for better execution. We're executing pretty good, getting what we want, whether it's a post-up or, an inbound play, or, guys are doing much better, doing a great job there. But John knocked a couple in there on some timeout stuff. It was good to see him go in. I'm, continuing to harp on him to be aggressive as well.
I feel like you have to do a little extra Nana building coming out of this one. That he got outplayed by Purdue center. Obviously, he's not making shots. He didn't get does he need that kind of thing?
I don't know. I mean, Nana's not been in. This is probably a little uncharted territory for him. He knows he's not playing as well as he's capable of, but he's obviously a big part. The thing that doesn't show up on the stat sheet that he does really well typically. Now tonight, obviously Hammonds was a load in one-on-one post defense, Steve, but just so many things he covers up defensively for our team off the ball with his size and length and mobility that don't show up on a stat sheet, that may not have anything to do with one-on-one defense. It's help defense, it's helping here, it's affecting a shot, it's playing a screen because he's really smart. So he always brings that to the table. I know every night and every practice that he's going to bring that, and that's a good thing. We got to continue to encourage him to do that, because that's been an important part of our defense, is his ability to provide that for us. And then we got to figure out. I know he's trying to hang in there offensively, and we're going to continue to encourage him to do so.
Time for 2 more questions.
You're a guy who does do what we do. After 3 losses, do you think of changing anything up?
No, we haven't. In the 3 losses, we haven't put the whole deal together. Obviously in the first one we weren't, very good at all on either end of the floor. I thought the second one we were lights out on defense. I mean, terrific. Took care of the ball, 11-6 assist to turnover ratio, pounded the glass. Had great rebounding numbers, held them to 37%. I mean, we defended our tails off. So that part was good. The offensive end wasn't. The execution was good. We didn't convert enough plays in that game. Today, I just didn't think we were physically tough enough. So the thing I think that's, a little bit disconcerting, for me, that I'm concerned about, is that it's been a different thing each game. It'd be one thing if it's the same thing. We've got to put it all together, which we've done at different times, especially late in the non-conference. I thought we were starting to become more of a complete basketball team. One game we don't do either well, the next game we defend well. Offensive execution's awesome, but we don't make enough plays. Today I thought our execution was pretty good on offense, but today we don't rebound the ball like we did in the last 2 games, which we out-rebounded the opponent. I mean, at some point we've got to have some consistency in what we're doing. And for us, Jeremy, if you said, what's the thing you've been the most consistent at all year, it's 3 things. We've defended, we've rebounded, and we've taken care of the ball. Well, tonight, we don't defend in the second half. I don't know what they shot. 48%, 38 from 3, and 80 from the line. We get browbeat on the backboard, and we lose the turnover battle. So I mean, to me, that's, those are the 3 things that we've been hanging our hat on, and we didn't do any of the 3 very well, certainly in the second half.
Coach, what do you play? Last question here.
John?
Coach, what do you plan to do this week to prepare for Saturday in terms of increasing that physicality?
Well, I'll get with the staff. I think part of it's just a mindset. You know, probably when I was a first year, probably to it. When I was a first year coach, I'd bring them in tomorrow and, have football helmets and football pads and blocking dummies and, do all that stuff. And then, maybe wear them out for the game on Saturday and have a great practice and, win the battle and lose the war. So there's a blend of that, obviously, but you got to be smart about it. I think more of it's mental than anything else because we've done it. So now we got to get back to doing it, and we got to do it better. I mean, there's no question about that. Derek, I'm going to take one more from Rob since they said it at the same time. Go ahead, Rob.
That last Tracy turnover, can you describe what was supposed to happen on that play?
Well, we had a spread ball screen look, which we had done all night, and Tracy had made some great reads. He was 5-2 assist to turnover ratio, and I thought he was aggressive, and he was vocal and leading. He made some good passes. And be honest with you, he made a couple passes that he threaded, and guys just happened to miss shots, or he had more assist. I thought he really got the ball moving better tonight off the pick and roll, but on that one just made a bad decision trying to find John.
Thanks.
Yep.